You're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our online and print review with two of my co-hosts in the persons of Miss Miriam Abnadidi and Mr. Clement Yabankwe. Hello. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Exactly.
The gas spirit is still there, yes.
I can't rehearse, guy and then just speak it for 2 minutes.
Right.
I have to speak it for like a year. Oh, afia yani bani now.
Papa Clement, how are you doing?
I'm fine. For me, my guy teacher during the weekend, he traveled. Yeah, so we are going back to class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so after classes, you hear me saying, I'm now called Nikwe. Yes. So actually, it's a very wonderful experience, and people learned a lot.
Yeah.
And the Clock TV brought them the best.
Yeah, of course. And we also made sure that we highlighted the phrase that in unity lies strength.
Yes.
And on that note, I would like to speak about our quote this morning, our motivational quote, which talked about the essence of teamwork and other things. And I have to say that has been very evident in our production on the grounds, because we worked together as a team, and as a result of that, we had a seamless production and a fruitful one. Looking at the comments we received, the efforts we put in learning the language and everything, I have to say the quote was just setting the tone right for our conversation.
And we big ups to our producers who have been able to just put the things together. It makes it just look so arranged.
And of course, our technical team, we can't leave them out. They did so well. I mean, if I really had money, I would have spread, I would give them some money this morning. They really did well.
Mimi,
yes.
Just do it. Just kill the beat rather than if you are.
Don't worry, I didn't bring some cash on me. So after
but they are just your. So after the show, they will just cash.
Yeah.
Why are you their spokesman?
Hey, I be finance. You see, my money matter here.
Oh, but I mean, everything was successful.
Sure,
that's the most important.
Yes, they were still able to try their best to mitigate some of the challenges they faced.
But this morning, I woke up very sad.
Oh.
Yesterday after work, almost getting home, I witnessed an accident, and it was just like a split, like something happened in a second, and the guy was just gone. I kept reflecting on the incident. I was like, it could have been anyone, like just anyone. So apparently a truck, driver lost control, and instead of using the main road, he diverted on our stretch, and then unfortunately there was a guy, crossing the road, and then that was it.
That goes to show how fleeting life is. You can be here 1 minute and you're not
and
the
I would
next
like
minute.
to, highlight on the fact that we all need to hold God in high esteem. Hold God with your two hands, like because this life, that means
Mimi,
take us into the Bible.
We are here to do online and news reviews, so please. We're not entering Bible yet. Let's
be. We are not entering the Bible. So as Mimi said, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I always say just by the grace of God.
Of course.
Just by the grace of God. So as she said, anybody at all could be a victim.
Of course.
But the grace is keeping us. So we just want to tell viewers that they should hold on to the grace. And as you know, you need to start your day very right.
Yeah.
And Clock TV has a very wonderful program, Wings of the Morning, from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. You need to start your day right before you step outside. So we want to entreat viewers that from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. tune into Clock TV, enjoy Wings of the Morning, moments of prayer and exhortation. That is going to set your day right.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's the testimonies we've received.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. Yes.
Right. So moving to the trends. The issues
before I get on your next.
I don't want you to get there. So yesterday, the biggest opposition party in Ghana, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, launched their youth manifesto in Accra, and it was a manifesto for the youth. Okay. And so everything that they presented was just geared towards developing the youth when they come into power. And one promise or pledge that has been, making waves on our phones or the internet is that they said no academic fees for level 100 entrants to tertiary schools. And so all level 100s that will be entering into tertiary, the tertiary level will not have to pay any fees. And that is one pledge that has brought up, controversies all around social media, and a lot of people are sharing their views on it. Some say it is possible, some say it is not possible. And the issues are so many. A lot are also saying it is not workable. I mean, looking at the fees that students pay when they are entering into the university is usually very high as compared to the subsequent years that you will be paying. So that aside,
but I think I have a question.
Okay.
So if it's free for first years, what happens in the second year and the subsequent years?
Yeah.
Because if my parents cannot afford to pay for my internet, my school for the first year, what's the guarantee that they're going to be able to pay for the second?
That is where others also, raised concerns that they said they are going to provide a 24-hour economy system where you get to work in shifts and other things. So if you get opportunity to get to school and then you are working, in the evening, you are learning. In the evening, you can get something to do and then, be supporting yourself with that. Yeah.
But for the school fees thing, I think that one of the ways they can also mitigate the problem of people not being able to afford it is one of the campaigns that happened in my time. When I was in uni, there was this campaign, Fees Must Fall. Yeah. So when we got to first year, every academic year the school fees increases. Yeah. But when we got to first year, the campaign started. So I think the second year when the increment had happened, then it stayed that way, the flat rate, at least till I finished. I don't remember how long after I finished that, it started increasing again. Even though I think it did bring some issues because, of course, the value of the money is changing, prices are going up and things like that. So I think that if they're going to do something like this, then maybe they should rather be geared towards a rate that does not increase, that every year, if I've been able to pay 500, now next year I have to pay 1,000, the next year I have to pay 1,005, that would be too much. So it is a good initiative anyway.
Okay, so to say something about it, I think, as you said, it's a good initiative. But you see, they are looking at free for the school fees. So maybe the students might end up paying for the hostel fee or something. Because I remember way back SS, when our time, somewhere 2016, 2015, the then government, we were only paying for the feeding, that's the boarding fees. Yeah. We're not paying for school fees. I remember some of my colleague day students were paying 50 cedis as school fees during the era of the NDC. And some people were paying 100 cedis as school fees. But those in the boarding school, we were paying that boarding fee. Yeah. So if they are saying something like that, Yaira said, you are looking for how it's going to be achieved. That is all what we want. I don't know, but I will say again, we are sick and tired of promises.
Yeah. So the director of the party, Dr. Peter Boama Otukono, sorry if I didn't get the name right, he came out to say that there are some clarities to make concerning that the level 100 academic fees the NDC is promising is not free. It will be taken as a loan from National Students Loan Scheme. Oh. Yeah, so it is a loan and not free as most people say. And others are also saying that the students' loan system already exists. So why then do you reintroduce it into the system again? But I will also say that it exists, but it is not working the way because I remember when I was getting into the university, someone asked me to apply. I did apply, and I never heard anything from them. And I wasn't the only one. When I got into school, I asked if there were loans and other things, and they said, yeah, the name exists, but it's not working. So
but even with that, of course, the students' loan thing is popular in the US especially, and you get to see, at least on social media, people who are still well into, their adulthood, and they're still talking about paying off students' loans. I think there was even a time where the President Joe Biden was even being asked to forgive all students' loans and things like that. Now let's bring it back to our country here. The way it can take you millennia to get a job after school.
Yeah.
And if there is a deadline, you know, to meet the requirements or to pay your loans off, what's going to happen to the person?
Exactly.
Secondly, we do not even have enough structures to be able to track these people, because even in our banking systems, most of the banks don't want to even give loans anymore because people take these loans and run away.
Yeah.
So how much more students loans where Nipani Rie school, when they are done with school, that's the end. They could just vanish off the face of the earth.
I think there should be a subsidy. Like they should, you know, it shouldn't be free, and it shouldn't be too high. They should, you know, subsidize it. Sorry, so that the students are able to.
Even the students that have to pay their fees and maybe academic material is free, it can go a long way because a lot of the students, yes, they are able to pay for the fees and everything, and now their chop money has to be split between academic, you know, your stationery, your books, and then your feeding. But if your books are provided and then the little chop money that's left out of all the monies you've paid for your school fees and hall fees, you know, that can work. So we need to look at more practical solutions rather than just saying things that if we try to look at it, you know, take it apart, it would fall apart.
Yeah, we are hoping they bring more clarification.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we are hoping because...
So, I have one trend regarding professor in boxing, Azumah Nelson. You see, over the weekends, we talked about boxing on the business update segment.
And Gamashi.
Yes, exactly. And I was speaking Sanga.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I did well. So, he is having a program known as Azumah, a Zoom Clinic.
Okay.
Zoom Clinic. He deals with, he visited some secondary schools in Takrady, Tamale, and also in Accra. And climaxing this was at Presec, where he uses life as an example to inspire the young ones, to make sure that they also do what they can do and do it best. And he used a quote that life is like boxing. Sometimes it's going to hit you very hard, but that doesn't mean you need to fall. You have to come back and start it again.
You hit the life song because
I hate it.
So you come back stronger, and you are so determined. And you see, and all these things, he end up giving students prizes. Some of them won 3,000 Ghana cedis, other 1,000 Ghana cedis. So over the weekends, we're talking about boxing in Ghana and how impact it has been. I think professor in boxing is doing so amazing by impacting these young ones for them to know what they can do and how they can also benefit the country, because his main aim is to raise leaders for tomorrow. That is main aim of doing all this, what he's doing. So that's the trend also we have today.
We have to applaud him for that.
Yeah.
He has really, done well, and he has led or lived an exemplary life that a lot of people can look up to emulate his lifestyle as well. Growing up, I heard of Azumah Nelson. I didn't get to see him, in person, but Azumah Nelson. He has really done well, and we have to commend him for that.
Well, I also think that him being a professor in boxing, and from what we've learned about the Ghana community, that one of the biggest sporting activities that they partake in is boxing. I think that he can use his platform to give them a push where we can even get to the Olympic level, because there are so many young boxers being trained and things and so many things going on. But I think if a popular figure comes into the picture, maybe some structures could be put in place and then some of these things could work. So they are not just homeboys that are playing around, but they get to be able to do something for the country and even for their community and their nation and everything as well. We have a few comments here, yes. So, of course, as you know, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So send your comments to our live stream, or you can even text our WhatsApp number, send in your comments. We'll read them, send all your suggestions, and even your questions for our segments that are upcoming. So we have ABK TV Ghana says, good morning, Clog TV. Good morning to you too. Big Family Audience says, good morning to you all and your team. You look beautiful today. Thank you. And of course, I'm sure you look beautiful as well. Then John Boating says, good morning, Clog TV. Good morning to you too. So yes, now for the online news, in my stories here, I'm sure you can guess. There's a protest somewhere, right? But we'll get to that. So the first story says, the construction of the 2.3 kilometer of Fankor-Pokwasi stretch is set to wrap up by late September, marking the end of the project. Good news for commuters on the N6 highway. The Fankor-Pokwasi stretch is set to reopen at the end of September 2024, following the completion of the ongoing construction works. The update was shared by Engineer Kobna Bimpong, the Chief Resident Engineer of the Pokwasi and Sawam Highway Project, who confirmed that the 2.3 kilometer stretch will soon be accessible to traffic again. And I quote, the plan is that by the end of September, we should have completed that portion and some other portions, and we are going to open it to traffic to the China Mall, except in areas where we are constructing overpasses and interchanges. So we have the Amasama interchange and then Pobiman overpass, and the other one at midyear, he added. So yes, Miriam, your road.
Wow. Okay, well, as you just said, it is good news for commuters on that route, especially myself. So on behalf of Pokwasi, Amasamai, Barrier of Fankor, we are all saying thank you so much, government, for working effortlessly to make sure that our roads are being, we have to also look at the economic benefits. These roads are going to contribute to Ghana, and we know when the roads are good, people are able to transport easily on the roads, and they are able to go back and forth. They are also, we also have to talk about the time and also money that we commuters are also going to be able to save. Let me put it that way, because now that the roads are not good, drivers are charging.
Yes, because maintenance for their cars.
You get it.
And things like that.
And we also spend a lot of time in traffic before we get to our work or homes. So I think it is also going to help us in that aspect. But that's notwithstanding, I think we also need to emphasize on the fact that it is an election year. We don't expect them to be in a haste to rush off working on the roads just because they want to
garner votes,
complete the road so that people will get to like them or vote for them. They should make sure that they use the right materials on the road so that it is a very how do I put it? It's a very significant road because it leads from Achimota to Kumasi. Let me put it that way. To Nsawam, there are big trucks, big cars that move on them, and so if the roads are constructed in a haste and the materials used are not of good quality, they are going to be deplete in no time, and it's going to come back to us again. So that is what I also have to say about it.
Well, I'm just glad the project is about to end, because passing on that road every Tuesday, Thursday while I'm trying to sleep in the bus, it's not a joke. It's really terrible, and I'm glad at least maybe when they complete that portion, then we'll be transferred to that side of the road. Then they can complete the other bad parts so that it will be navigable.
So we should also look at the fact that as September, late of September, as they've promised, it will be done by then.
Exactly.
Because we are in this country where a lot of deadline has been given. At the end of the day, nothing to show off. So as they've told Ghanaians that by the end of September, that project is going to be completed, they should actually look into it.
So I saw a funny comment on what Clement was saying, and the person was like, hey, this government, we hope they'll not come and tell us that they said September, but they didn't say 2024. Maybe 2025.
Hey. Okay, but this one, they did say 2024. It's here, set to reopen by the end of September 2024.
Yes. So as Miriam said, in the aspect of economic, it's going to be very good because business is going to boom over there.
Yeah.
A lot of investors will now look at that stretch. And that is when they should, residents should also expect increment in renting. Because, oh yes, we should look at this one. People will now see that, oh, that place is not a good place to stay. So they are going to, rent is going to shoot up and other social amenities is going to shoot up.
Exactly.
So in as much as we are so happy for them, citizens or residents around Ofankor Pokuase should expect changes in some of their social costs in some of their social
So Clement,
amenities.
indirectly, you are telling us to start looking for a different place,
no. It's a good place to be.
No.
But you need to, your pockets need to get more. You get the thing, yes.
My landlord is watching, so I know he's thinking of increasing.
So lest I forget, even as this new stretch has been completed, please let us be mindful of our road safety. Let us not be over speeding just because it's a new road, asphalt, so we want to do all your skills. No. Please, let's be mindful of our lives and the lives of others, because these are roads that have big trucks transporting all kinds of goods to and from Accra. So please, let us be very careful. Let us not allow all kinds of thoughts into our heads and be misbehaving on the roads. And I really hope that the engineers also put in some, maybe speed bumps and, zebra crossings and things like that.
It's even good you raise the issue of overspeeding, because you are even with the states. If I should tell you the speed at which some drivers, drive on that road,
Yeah. So please, our dear citizens, our motorists and pedestrians, please let us be very careful. Let us keep ourselves safe. So yes, the next story says, vendors at Agbogbloshie Market express concerns over poor hygiene and unhealthy environment. So Accra's Agbogbloshie Market traders are pleading with the government to address the dire need for proper waste management and road repairs, citing severe impacts on their well-being and livelihoods due to persistent issues and presence of trash, clogged drains, and deteriorating infrastructure. Despite previous complaints, the traders claim that insufficient action has been taken, leaving them to conduct business in hazardous and unsanitary conditions.
So, the first question is, which people causes all this kind of hazard? Or let's say, which people pollute the environment? That's my first question. Which people are responsible for polluting the market? Because I don't think that someone will travel all the way from Kumasi and come and pollute Agbogbloshie Market.
Yeah.
So if within we've caused something, then within we should be able to solve it.
Yes, I totally understand you though, but this is a market. They are going to conduct all kinds of activities that would result in waste at a point. Just like everybody, every organization, even your body, at some point is going to have a byproduct. So as much as it may be they themselves, polluting the environment, waste management is where the problem is. Because if there are bins provided, if there are trucks that come and carry the waste away and things like that, I'm sure them sweeping and gathering the rubbish would not be a problem, because now they've gathered the rubbish and it is a heap, it's a mountain. The roads leading to the market, even inside the market, are very poor, so poor that when it rains, it's almost impossible to get through. So you realize that as much as they are, just like every organization, there will be rubbish, but if it is not being cleared, the unit, we have our bins on every floor, right? But if those bins are not cleared to the main bin and then later to the dump truck, the rubbish will continue and then causing more issues. I even read that somebody said even the chop bar operators, they pour their waste into the gutters and things like that.
That's the point I'm coming from.
So you see that it's a give and take affair,
So we have leaders of this very market. I know when you go to markets, you have queen mothers who are responsible for all these people. So we have people who are supposed to be responsible for this waste management. So if I sell here and right beside me, we have rubbish and the place is untidy. And if I'm unable to clean that or just dispose of that rubbish, and I come sit in to sell, who is causing more harm?
But you see, Clement, if
Yeah, I'm coming. Who's causing more harm? One, I myself, I'm the one causing more harm to the person who's come to buy that very item. Sometimes in the morning, I happen to use that stretch a lot. That's where I pick car around CMB lane, and it's somehow it's very bad.
Yes.
Sometimes you see someone selling like bread, and beside them there is this rubbish. There is this kind of things, and it's not nice. Like, you wouldn't feel like buying food there.
Yes.
Especially this fish that they sell there. You see a lot of house flies. So can't we, in our own way, put measures in place to make sure our things are very hygienic? Are we supposed to always look on the government? Are we supposed to? No, the government it has a lot of things to do. When some of our colleagues, when they are going to the house, we used to go to Cocoa Board. And when you get to, there is a stretch after ATU when you crosses on the way to Cocoa Board, you see a heap of rubbish. And I used to ask my colleagues that, so which human being will come and put this heap of rubbish close to the middle of the road? Close to the middle of the road. And sometimes to be there for 2 good days.
Yeah.
Heap of rubbish.
You see, I totally understand where you're also coming from. But then also, the three of us sitting here, if we each have bins, right, we put all our rubbish in it. If we don't have a major waste management system that comes to clear our rubbish, it will keep piling up. And I cannot go and dump it in front of OHCS or in front of Parliament House, right? There's nowhere to send it.
Okay, so before we all have the bins, we should have a decision, or we should have an alternative that, okay, you shouldn't just collect the bin thinking that at the end of the day, the government will come for it. So even before you had the bin, among you should decide that, oh, when the bin is full, we are going to put it at this side.
But then also, there's also the argument that we have waste management systems in the country. Zoomlion is the most popular one.
Yes.
We have certain landfill sites that these things are sent there. Are you saying that the Queen Mother should now select members of the market to be the ones to be shipping off rubbish there after coming to work the whole day?
No, I'm not saying the Queen Mother should be certain.
No, I'm also
market.
just asking.
I'm also making up. I'm not saying that you should, among us, should do that. Among us, we can get someone who does not work there, who will be responsible for that. That doesn't mean, when you read the story, they are calling the government. My point in the aspect of this, on like the hazard issue is, it's our responsibility to handle that. Why do you want government to come in before?
I get the point Clement is driving.
It's a responsibility.
But you see also...
And you know that, coming to that, if you are calling on government, I would agree with you on one side, because we have, I've forgotten the name of those tax force. They used to collect money from the market woman every day. Yes, you ticket. So, like, who to me call Jessica, our mothers. And we realize where they set is dirty. So if they're calling on government on that angle, I will understand it, because you take money from us. So make sure that where we sit is tidy.
I think the call on government is also very important, because when you check Accra Central, right, each and every day the place is dirty, but in the morning when you get there, it is cleaned. I don't know if it is these waste management, Zoomlion and the others that cleaned it, but you realize that you see these trucks, clearing the roads, and can't we have the same thing, happen?
Yes, that's the whole idea. Because that when they do clear up the rubbish and put it together, somebody has to take it. And we have waste management systems in this country. And then also, I do agree with what you're saying, because Ghanaians have that attitude of abayindia, abayinbeye, because as you said, when you come to Accra Central early in the morning, the place is clean. But these same people will come and dump, Zoomlion Babefa, which is very bad. Even with the bins provided, some people will not have bins at home. They go and bring rubbish and come and put it in the bin.
I have a personal experience.
Even the gutters, some people don't have drainage systems in their home. They've connected a pipe from their homes, whether it's their washrooms or their kitchens, to flow into the gutter, making the place smell very terrible, more pollution, germs all over. It is something that Ghanaians we need to have a change of mind about, because it's multifaceted. And we cannot blame just the government. We cannot blame just the people too.
That's true.
But I also want to, add up to what Clement said. Just as he said, in as much as we are also waiting on the government to, take up an action or something, we are the people, selling there, right? I don't think you feel comfortable sitting in the smell and then, so we can all come together and then one day decide to clean up the place, send all the rubbish to a particular place so that we know that, oh, this is the only place that smells. This is the only place that has, a heap of rubbish and other things, because Agbogbloshie is one of the biggest markets in Accra.
And even coming to the roads, apparently the roads are so terrible, the mud, all of that. It is also a contributing factor, because if there are so many, potholes are holders of water. If it rains right now, the fact that even the rubbish is now wet and extra smelly, the potholes are also going to become harbors for all kinds of things that... Honestly, it's just a lot. The whole place, I think the whole place just needs to be cleared and renovated, honestly. We have a few comments. So this one is speaking to the road issue and is from Big Family Audience. Hope they are not in a hurry to complete because of the election. And then Arkman Multimedia also says, did I just hear September? By July next year... it will go back to factory reset. Oh, have some faith. Come on. And then we also have ABK TV Ghana says, if they complete this stretch, then I can conclude that these leaders do not care about the health of ordinary commuters on the road, but are only concerned about the fear of the next election. How can you tell me that all the stretch was not possible to complete during your 7 years in power, together with the revenue generated internally and all the loans received combined, but now it's possible because election is just around the corner? Wow.
I think I have to counter this comment because, the project was just started last year. And then, last 2 years, and it was promised to be completed in July this year. And so if at least they are saying September,
let's cut them some slack. So TA also says, how? Hey, let's keep our comments, a little savory, please. So it says, are they going to do magic or shoddy work because of election? Pokwasi to Amasaman, possible, but the rest needs more time. Media houses should check on what's going on the grounds before putting up such news.
Yeah, specifically they said Ofankor Pokwasi.
Yes, so Ofankor Pokwasi, yes. Okay. So the last story here is our protest story. And so residents of Komenda Sugar Factory moved their protest to Accra. And the planned protest against the Komenda Sugar Factory's leasing to an Indian company has been rescheduled by the concerned citizens of the Komenda traditional area. Originally slated for Tuesday, August 13, 2024 in Komenda, the protest will now occur in Accra at an unspecified date. The protesters want the facility to go back to processing sugar cane grown nearby rather than importing raw sugar. They want the leasing deal to be reversed, and they contend that appropriate procedural observance and stakeholder consultation were lacking in the creation of the lease agreement. Yes, this is your area, you're fearful.
So, Yara, this Komenda Sugar Factory issue started way back, the former president. In 2016, when he inaugurated the place, the current government took over saying that there was no raw material to feed the factory. So it was not a good job done. So they need to take over, do whatever they were supposed to do. As at now, we are not seeing any great output from the factory. Until we hear the trade minister also saying that they are going to lease it out to an Indian firm, that's West African Agrotech. It's an Indian firm who deals in sugar production. On what basis? They said the factory is having a lot of operational challenges. The investments, there's no much fund for them to invest in it. Expertise is also lacking. And it's when we talk about leasing. Leasing is when it's like I'm giving my company to you as a rent. You use it for, let's say, period in, according to what they are doing, is for 15 years to 20 years. So they are renting the factory to this company for a period of 15 to 20 years. So the company will use everything in the factory. After 20 or 15 years, he gives it back to the government. That's basically the meaning of leasing.
Yeah.
So the people of Commander says no, they won't agree to such process.
Yeah.
Why? Because early this year, you said you need raw materials for the factory, and farmers have grown sugarcane.
Yeah.
That you are supposed to use it to feed the factory. But now you are not buying or procuring the sugarcane of farmers, but you are importing raw sugar from outside the country to feed this factory. So I think early this year, the farmers raised agitation that no, they won't agree to such issues because you are going to create employment. And now this employment, we the farmers are supposed to benefit. We are going to provide this raw materials, and now you are importing it from outside the country. So they won't agree. That was one day agitation they started from. They won't agree. So government is supposed to sit with them for them to have a broader consultation whether to continue their farming or not. And trust me that a lot of people have invested in sugarcane.
Exactly.
Thinking that the government will buy all these things. And at the end of the day, Yaira, you turn your back, go and import raw sugar outside the country, come and feed this factory. How do you want them to feel?
Yeah, I think I also do agree with the fact that they shouldn't lease the company because if Ghana does not have anything, it is not natural resources. We have the raw materials, we have the people too. So if they are going to even partner with an Indian firm that seems to be well versed in this idea, it should be on training basis. That's okay.
Exactly.
You can operate here in this country. Probably give them some tax relief, but please train our people. The job that they are creating, the jobs, the employments they are creating, train these people so that they can also work in the Comenda Sugar Factory now, so that we have exchanged, some of the FDA
like
for, it's some sort of barter trade where they've gotten their skills improved upon, and then because we have the industries, but the expertise is not very. It's not up there. It's not up to the level, on the international scale. Because even with our cocoa, sometimes we hear that there are complaints that the cocoa beans are not up to standard and things like that. So if these foreigners are coming here, why don't we rather set up agreements where they can train our people, if it means even that they can provide us with some of the tools they use, these advanced tools, in exchange for something else that would also be beneficial to them. It would move us forward rather than leasing this company. Because as you said, if they are taking over the Comenda Sugar Factory for whatever number of years, what is the guarantee that by the end of the 15 to 20 years, the Comenda Factory would be better than they came to meet it? What is the guarantee that even the Ghanaian employees there would have gained or acquired any skills better than what they started with? Because one thing we know about some of these foreign countries is when they come here and they operate, they are given some tax relief, they make sure to work within the time frame given to them, and then they fold up quickly and go, because they don't want to. So if they are given 5 years, after 5 years, they don't want to start working because now they will be taxed and then that money will come to the government. This is something we all know about. What's the guarantee that this is not going to happen in the Comenda Factory if the company is leased?
So Yaira, this issue it's really a big issue, because I personally, I don't understand. A new factory that the government has built. And due to, you are saying, operational challenges, you are leasing it out. As Yaira said, I agree. If you invite people with expertise, you are saying India really produce sugar in large quantity. So just get experienced people from India, come in to train our people, because even the Comenda Sugar Factory, Ghana, you're managing, you are importing raw materials. You are importing raw sugar. How shall we say, when these Indian people come take over, they will also not import from India and feed the factory. So what happens to our farmers? These are the things they should look at. They shouldn't, and this list, how much are they going to pay? It's going to be monthly basis or annual basis. And at the end, as Ira said, what if after 15 years and the factory starts to deteriorate? Because after all, they are leaving the factory. What if the machine starts having a lot of issues? So these are the things that they need to look at very well before if they want to go into leasing agreements, they move into leasing agreements. But if they don't look into these matters very well, at the end of the day, Ghanaians will still suffer. Because as Sarah said, we are all here when we had oil around Takrady, and foreigners have come take over. At the end of the day, they give us only 10%. Where when you go to Dubai, when they had same situation, they invited people. They come train them. After all, they've not taken over the oil. They are doing it themselves. And now they are making it big time. So why would we have something, now invite people come and sit on it? Why don't you train our people?
Well, lastly, to add my voice to this, I think this whole issue underscores the little relevance that is given to stakeholder involvement when it comes to decision taking and making, because I don't think they involved, those involved in the sugar factory, the farmers, even some of the management, the old people living around. I don't think they involve them in the decision taking. And so I think that is why they are also furious. And the fact that they are coming all the way from
India.
No, I mean the agitators to Accra coming.
Because they want to make their voices heard here.
And Yara, do you know that's amazing? There is a sugar company in Ghana, Golden Sugar Company Limited, Astema. So people agitate, why don't you even let such a company just come do partnership and for us to do, rather than go in, bring an Indian. And is it, I don't know, but if you're aware that this sugar factory was funded by India. Oh yes, it was funded by Indian Exim Bank.
Wow.
The project that we are talking about was funded by Indian Exim Bank. An amount of, I think, I want to get a figure, but I forgot, around 34 million United States dollars. So when I realized how it was funded and where it is coming from, I was like, oh, okay, maybe.
There is some kind of
maybe
that has happened behind
we hope to hear
doors.
more from this story. So one last comment before we wrap up. So Rose Entertainment says, I am Charles, watching you live from Dubai. Era, you are doing well with your team. We thank you, and greetings from Accra to Dubai. Thank you so much. Yes, Miriam will be joining you soon. Thank you so much for joining us here for the online and print review. Up next is the lifestyle segment. What are some of the myths you heard about breastfeeding? Do you think breastfeeding should not be done in public? Do you think breastfeeding should only be done for 3 months or 6 months? All of these questions will be answered by Miriam and her guest right after this break. Stay tuned.
Information received through the lot to bring you credible, timely, and informative news updates.
We give you true happenings, detailed stories on our news line to make sure the public is well informed.
When it breaks, we are there. Being it local, international, and business, Express Update is always there to cover.
And in the world of sports, we bring you the best sports updates locally and internationally. Join the news team on Clock TV for all your news updates.
Tell them what happened. You send the mix.
Alibor Beverly, and Edna Watson on Old School Ride. Let's get interactive and get to know our old legends.
Drumming my pain with his fingers. Exciting.
Showing this on every Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and repeat on Saturdays at 3 to 4 p.m. on Club TV. Old School.
I just want to take a moment and thank everyone in law enforcement who helped us in the search for our beloved daughter.
There's no point hiding things from me.
You're psychic?
No, just paying attention. I've been watching. How dare you? Did you kill your daughter? Jude, please. Honestly, it's not as bad as it looks.
Classic Red John smiley face. Drawn in the victim's blood. Plots with 3 fingers of his right hand.
This isn't Red John. In all the previous killings, he made sure that the first thing that anyone sees is the face on the wall. Then, and only then, do you see the body of the victim. This time, I will make damn sure that he stays dead.
I don't want to stop him.
You start by letting people help you.
But he's gonna come after you.
Let him come.
We've been calling him Deathstroke. Find him. They're designated Task Force X.
Welcome to the Suicide Squad.
OJ and Charles Manson one available?
Deadshot is a go.
Shrapnel's a go.
Tiger's a go.
I created the Huntress.
Yeah, well, you created Slade too.
I have my allies, just as you have yours.
Be prepared for anything.
If they're wearing a mask, they get a bullet.
Once you let the darkness inside, it never comes out.
What are you gonna do? Kill me.
I need my gun, Kane. I need the gun.
You will have the gun as soon as you tell me where.
Oh, you know this hold. Did not see that coming.
Choose someone else. Please.
TV. Beyond the policy.